poorest of the poor, and a woman and her baby survived or died unattended. The sisters lived a life of ceaseless dedication to their religion and to the people whom they felt were in their care. At the time when I worked at Nonata's house, Sister Julienne was sister in charge. Convents tend to attract within their portals ladies of middle years who are unable to cope with life in one way or another. These ladies are always single, widowed, or divorced, and lonely. They are nearly always gentle, timid, and shy, with an immense yearning for the goodness which they see in the convent but cannot find in the harsh world outside. Usually they are very devout in points of religious observance and have an unrealistic or romanticized idea of monastic life and long to be part of it. However, they often do not have a true vocation that would enable them to take the life vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience, nor, I suspect, would they possess the strength of character necessary to live within these vows. So they hover on the fringe, neither fully within the world, nor fully withdrawn from it. Such a lady was Jane. She was probably around 45 when I met her, but she looked much older. She was tall, thin, aristocratic in appearance, with delicate bone structure, beautifully sculpted features, and refined manners. In another context, she would have been an outstanding beauty, but her excessive dowdiness made her look plain and nondescript. It was almost as if she did it on purpose. Her soft grey hair could have curled prettily around her face, but she cut it herself, so that it was jagged and shapeless. Her height, which should have rendered her distinguished, she reduced by bending her shoulders, so that her carriage and walk were stooped and cringing. Her large, expressive eyes were filled with nameless anxiety and surrounded by worry lines. Her speech was so soft that it sounded like a far-off twitter, and her laugh a nervous giggle. In fact, nervousness was her chief characteristic. She seemed frightened of everything. I noticed that, even at meals, she did not dare to pick up her knife and fork until everyone else had done so, and when she did, her hands frequently shook so much that she would drop something. Then she had to apologize profusely to everyone, especially to Sister Julienne, who was always at the head of the table. Jane had lived at Nonata's house for many years and fulfilled a role that was neither nurse nor domestic servant, but a mixture of the two. I had the impression she was a highly intelligent woman who could easily have trained as a nurse and been very good at it, but something must have prevented her. No doubt it was her chronic nervousness, for she could never have taken the responsibility that is a daily part of any nurse's life. So Sister Julienne sent her out to do simple jobs, like blanket baths or enemas or delivering various things to patients. In doing these little jobs, Jane was all of a twitter with anxiety, going over and over her bag obsessively, muttering to herself such things as, "Soap, towels, have I got everything? Is it all there?" Consequently, it took her 2 or 3 hours to do a job that any competent nurse could have achieved in 20 minutes. When she had finished, she was pathetically eager for recognition, her eyes almost pleading for someone to say that she had done well. Sister Julienne always praised her small achievements, but I could see that it was a strain for her to be so constantly alert to Jane's craving for praise. Jane also helped the nurses and midwives in the clinical room in small ways, such as cleaning instruments, packing bags, and so on, and again she was irritatingly eager to please. Asked for a syringe, she would rush off and get 3. Asked for some cotton wool swabs for 1 baby, she would bring enough for 20, and then almost grovel as she handed over the item with a nervous giggle. This craven urge to please brought her no rest, no comfort. It was all very disconcerting, especially as she was old enough to be my mother, and as it generally took her about 3 times as long as it took me to do a job, I refrained from asking. But she intrigued me, and I watched her. Jane spent most of her time in the house, so one of her jobs was to take telephone messages, which she did with meticulous